DJ Abiam really likes you. Yes, indeed. He's played the song just for you. Oba sweetie. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my people listening to us right now, we're getting into that conversation around Women's Month. It's all in support of the agricultural sector. We asked you to nominate, and you sent in so many nominations, but this one particular one had so many people, bringing her name up. So we're going to be speaking to her, Gifty Manye Hode. Hode or Hode?
Hode.
Hode. Oh, Hode. You are Ewe, right?
Yes, I am.
Gifty Manye Hode joining us right now. She's got so much to her name. She happens to be a journalist as well, TV host, philanthropist, communications expert, agripreneur. There's so many things in one. Gifty was good with you.
I'm doing great.
Yeah, that's right.
The energy level is always. I was asking your producer, can I stand this energy?
Yo, yes you can. Yes you can. Yeah. Last week we met at the We Rise. That's the Women Entrepreneurs Rise brunch. You know, and it was a beautiful one. You, funny enough, you were one of the people who happened to speak and share your journey. On there. And I listened to your story and I realized that there's a lot going on. You have a certain drive, you have a certain passion, a certain focus, and you are going all out for it. So it's good that we're here today. You get to share your story as well with everyone else. I mean, this opportunity is coming with so many more things, but today you and I are just having the conversation around agriculture. I feel like it's one of those that people are now getting into. They're now seeing the benefits of it, but then there are some challenges along the way. For some people, they have questions, and I hope that today you'll be able to help us answer some of those questions.
Definitely.
Yes, indeed. But do tell us about your agric journey, how you got into it, from communications, or did you get communications after? How did it start for you? Or your parents had a farm when you were children and they said, hey, come and till the soil, come and learn how to do this, come and water. You have to water with 10 buckets. How did that work out, Gifty? Talk to us.
Thank you very much, Crystal. Good evening to you and your audience. But it's been a long journey. Honestly,
shorten it for us.
If I was told that I'll become an agric advocate today or a farmer today, I'll tell you, Satan, get behind me.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm one of those young ladies that when my father is going to a farm and he says, Enyonam, let's go, I will start crying and from my face and find every good reason. So he would just let me stay back home. But, right after senior high school, I happened to stay closer to Radio Gold.
Okay.
At Latabi Okoshi.
So in my area.
Exactly. So one of these, I just walked in there and I said, hello, I am done with senior high. I want to get myself busy whilst waiting to further my education. So I was asked to take care of the front desk.
Okay.
So I go 5 p.m. and close at 10 p.m. A driver will drop you home. And that's what I did for 6 months. Then I started co-hosting a show on Radio Gold, very famous show called Lolonyo. It's an hour program, so it was easy for me to just fill in. And one of the senior workers walked to me and said, I think you have the flair, you have the talent and the skill. Why don't you go to school, get trained properly and get a certificate, and then you can get proper salary if you start working. So I went to JE to do my diploma in journalism, and then I went to AUCC to get my degree in PR. I went back to Radio Gold to continue working, and something happened. The story with Radio Gold and Muntie. So we were all asked to go home. So after 2017 thereabout, I was asking, you are home, you need to eat, you need to pay bills. So what do you do? So that's when I decided to become a content creator.
Okay.
Yes. So my first content was business trends on GH1 TV, where I profile young entrepreneurs, put them on TV, helping them to get mentor, new business people, and everything. So I did that for 3 years. And I was asking myself, what do I do next? Which other sector lack the talkability that we media people would only talk about when there's a problem or the food prices are going high? Then we run to the market and check on them. But they are the largest employer in the economy. They put food on the table of people they know, people they don't know. They create wealth, but we barely talk about them. So as a farmer's daughter and growing up, and I realized that my dad has done pretty much well in the agric space, but the story is just me and my parent. Nobody knew. So I said, I want to change the narrative of farmers in Ghana. So I wrote the concept. I called the team. We went on the farm to shoot the pilot, and then we started. So one farmer to the next, to the next, to the next. And so it's been a very exciting journey for 4 years, you know, amplifying the voices of people who do not have platforms to talk, you know, sharing their stories and also celebrating their successes, whilst using the same platform to highlight the challenges
as well
in that sector. So it's been a very thrilling 3 to 4 years for me.
Nice.
And it was around that time that, you know, each farmer you visit tells you a different story.
Of course.
He is into aquaculture. The DJ is into, you know, something like livestock.
Yeah.
Somebody says I'm into crop production.
Yes.
So farming is about timing, Crystal.
Tell me how.
You need to know your time. So
you mean like the crops and the times that they flourish, for instance?
Not really, but you are a radio presenter or you are a corporate person. So if you want to go into farming, you got to know what works for you. When are your free time? Do you even have one?
That's a question. Do you even?
Exactly. So you need to ask yourself, do I have time? Then you come to the crops. In the crops, we have the short, the medium, and long term. So you need to look around these three. Then you have to look for location. Where will I get my land that I can easily drive through and
How
flow?
do I even get my land?
Exactly.
How?
You need to know the location. After that, then you settle on who am I producing for. The mistakes that a lot of young people do, that when they go into farming, they rush out, is because you don't look for the person who will buy from you.
They don't know who their target audience is.
Exactly. Because you see Anyonam is doing well with sweet potato. You think I can equally do well. But before I dip my money into the ground, I had got a buyer who signed an agreement that Anyonam produce this quality, this variety, these acres, and I'll buy.
Okay.
Before my money went into the soil. So these things are very important. And so if you know them, and of course, one of the key challenge for farmers are workers. Workers are, you know, they are causing a lot of trouble headache to farmers.
Okay, so it's not that there's a shortage of workers. They have the hands. It's just that they are troublesome to work with. Is it an issue of education, training? What is it?
They are difficult. It's just that so our share experience, we got some workers from north to come down to the south to train for our production this season. They came and they start telling you that in the morning we want to eat this before we go to the farm. We don't like the way women are dressing on the farm.
Wow.
Yes. During weekends we are working. Can we rest? But you need to utilize the time you have at hand, because I needed them to study, get trained, and know some tactics in the area of the project I'm working on.
Which has a timeline.
Exactly. But they come up with a lot of excuses. At times, you pay them and he tells you, I'm going to visit my wife or my relative, I'll be back. And that ends
And then he doesn't come back.
Will
you go and catch him in his house?
You know, he doesn't come back. So the challenge is not just with marketing. It also has to do with labor. It has to do with infrastructure, which is perishable commodities like tomato, a couple of them. When you produce within a few days or week, it is exactly. Yeah. So we lack infrastructure in there. We lack branding as well. For a very long time, people think that farming is dirty.
Oh, yeah.
Farming is for uneducated people. But tell you what, we have a lot of elite.
Yeah.
Who are into farming.
Yes.
And they make it look so beautiful. You should take time and go to Rwanda and see how the young folks, my goodness, they take a Greek like just the way a doctor feels proud wearing that outfit.
Deal. Food is life, you know. Exactly. If you don't have food, what happens to you?
What will you do?
Food is to nourish you. You know, I mean, I have a long history of what I think is the history of us thinking, you know, these things are dirty things and stuff like that. It's all got to do with, in my opinion, colonization and all that. Yeah. But I feel like it's too deep and it's too long to get into. I'm glad that at least we're getting the light, you know, we're seeing the light. And we understand that now, as 30 years, 25, 18, 40, whatever your age is, you can always get into farming. Exactly. But before we get into how easy or difficult it may be to get into it, tell us what exactly you do farming wise, aside you highlighting people's you know, successes and so on. You said sweet potatoes, is that all you do? So right after 3 years down into the advocacy business, I realized that potato has good market, the demand is good, the value addition that you can make from potato is a lot. And then, of course, there is somebody who is on standby to buy. So the first time
One thing also that we complain about is funding. But you see, it's easy to get funding if you have something to show.
Yeah.
I always say that if you walk to me that, and I need 100 cedis to do this, I would ask you, what have you got to show that demands or deserve the 100 you're asking for? So for 3 years, I had a record, a very good one. So when it was time for me to do my potato, it's just a matter of using my platform to say, hey, I want to do potato. I'm doing the 5 acres.
Yes.
If you want to do this with me, join me, let's do it. And by the time I realized, I had about 5 people and we did 45 acres.
Wait. Join me meaning you wanted investors as well, like business partners.
Yes, I am doing 5. If you are out there, you want to do 5, but you don't have the time, join me.
So you would work, quote unquote, work their fields as well.
Exactly.
And then you would have a contract set aside to give them their percentage after. Which means that they're not getting 100% because you also put your labor into their work.
Exactly.
Okay, that's a different side to it, which I think makes a lot of sense also.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
there are those who have the hard cash but don't have the time.
Yes.
So I said, I'm going to get the land, I'll get the workers, I'll get the vines, I'll get everything that needs to be mobilized to do the farming. So just join me with your resources and let's get it done.
That's nice. And you got the response as well.
It was overwhelming.
I love it. We are speaking to Gob3 Manya Hode.
Call me Enyonam.
Or the
Ghanaian. The signature name is the Ghanaian farmer.
The Ghanaian. Hey, it's simple as short. The Ghanaian farmer. We're speaking to the Ghanaian farmer right now, and all of this is tied to the 3FM Women's Month celebration, where we're highlighting, the role, the importance, and the impact of womenpreneurs in the agric space. I think it's brilliant what you do, and you don't actually always get the spotlight, So we want to bring the spotlight onto you. We want to put it onto you. For anyone that's joining us right now and wants to understand why we're even doing this in the first place, it's good to get into it. And hopefully at the end of this conversation, we're also inspired to get into farming. And it's not as far-fetched as we think. It's not as, hey God, how do I get into this? That's as simple as, I'm, throwing out there that I'm going to start one. If you want 5 acres, why don't you bring your money and we'll get this thing going? So you keep contracts. That's how you keep your businesses, is what it is.
Yes.
Did you learn this from, say, what your father did or didn't do from back then?
So I actually learned a lot from the mistakes they made. You see, one of the challenge also with farmers is the lack of record keeping.
Yeah.
Crystal, if you go to the bank and you want money, the bank would ask for your records. How do you save here? How do you withdraw? Do you deposit? They would look at that to give you credit. So for me, I realized my parents were not keeping proper record. As a result, a lot of farmers would walk into financial institutions and they'll tell you, you are not qualified to get the funding. But it was easy on my part because I had corrected that mistakes. So every farmer I have interviewed, the location they are, their contact numbers, every detail I have in my database. Okay? And I am able to do calculation and tell you that an acre of potato will give me this amount. This is how much I need to actually put into it. And this how much potentially when I market, if all things be equal, this is how much we're going to get.
Right.
You understand? So one of the things is that as a farmer, first of all, try and visit other farms. Every young person who want to go into farming, try and visit other farms.
Why should they try and visit other farms? I know I want to do tomato. Why should I visit someone's farm?
That way, you get to engage me. Oh, how long have you been doing your tomatoes? What variety are you producing? What kind of soil is good for planting tomato? We have bumper season. And that bumper season will start around May, June, thereabout. You will see a lot of veggies in the market with very less prices and farmers will not gain money. But you see, the best time to do farming is the dry season. That is if you have irrigation, and which of course a lot of farmers do not have. And that's why we are telling government that if you are encouraging young people to go into farming, consider mechanized farming.
Yeah.
And these small ponds that we have in the northern belt, you even go the dry season, it is dried up.
Oh gosh.
The southern belt, we don't even have a lot of them. Just a few around the Pram area thereabout. But we need a lot of mechanized boreholes to encourage us to do farming and make real cash during dry season.
I mean, it sounds like an investment that can easily be done.
Farming is expensive, Crystal.
No, I'm saying this particular investment from government that you're asking for, it sounds like an investment that can easily be done if they actually put focus on the agri sector, because many of us already want to take the initiative. So if they're able to play this part with regards to watering, the other parts should work out pretty easily.
They need to
for
help
us.
They need to meet us halfway. Logistics is a problem.
Yeah.
Mini factories to process or add value to the commodities is a problem. Our road networks are a problem. And then we need the funding. There are institutions that we say we are giving funding, but you walk in there and because you don't have the record, you don't have anything, you are unable to meet their requirement to access funding.
You're alone.
Exactly.
You're alone in this.
So if they want young people, if government really want young people to go into farming, they need to meet us halfway. Okay? It's not a matter of, we are giving seed. We are giving input. We will give you aggregator and all that. It's not about saying this.
It's about actually getting it done.
Get it done.
Show working.
That's it. Because willingness, if you see messages I receive every day from Twitter to YouTube to Facebook, the interest, the willingness.
So they have it. It's there.
It's there.
It's a given.
It is there. Look, my platform, The Ghanaian Farmer, has become like an educational platform where a lot of people go there to get knowledge. The knowledge now they are getting. But beyond the knowledge, even land, the traditional authorities, last year somewhere we saw government meeting them and telling them enough of real estate, reserve some of the land for farming. Because you people go hungry. You people will go hungry one day.
No, we'll eat building. We'll eat concrete. Yes, concrete and gari and milk.
You will go hungry one day. Okay? At times, you are even driving in the rural areas and you see some of the farmlands being, surrounded with walls just to be demarcated for real estate.
Yes.
Come on now.
Yeah.
We need to produce food and eat.
Yeah.
Agenda 2030. Are we meeting the food security issue we are talking about? There is a lot to be done.
Yeah.
The willingness of the youth to go into farming is there. But we need the meeting. We need to meet each other halfway.
So now let's switch it a little bit, right? The government has their part to play.
They have their
But
part
if they
to play.
haven't met it today, right now, how does someone still get into it and still benefit from their own, additions, their own engagement with farming?
Awesome. So for a very long time, people assume that if you want to go into farming, I need to start with 10 acres, 5 acres. It's not about the number of acres, Crystal.
It's about
that 1 acre and the value it brings to you.
Nice.
Okay, if your money is just 10,000, sit down and do the breakdown. Where I am leasing my land at Sigi, an acre is going for 400 cedis for a year. So if you have 10,000, you got your 1 acre for 400.
Yeah.
You should go and ask how much seed kilograms will I need
For the 1 acre.
Exactly, fertilizer. The man who will come and clear the land. The tractor plow for us last season at 500 cedis. This season, I don't know how much they are charging.
It's
yet.
definitely going to go up. Definitely.
Because fuel is going up.
It's gone.
So tractor will charge you higher.
And everything else with the food,
Exactly.
everything else is going up.
You understand? So break down the 10K, okay? And it's 3 months. So you should be able to break down your 10K and know that within these 3 months, this is how much I'm spending. You see, if you manage to be successful with 1 acre, then the next season, you can go to your 2 acre, then gradually you scale.
You are learning it anyway.
Thank you.
So if you can manage
that 1
a little,
acre, you can also
more.
be able to do all your mistakes. You can learn from the mistakes and you become a master of the craft gradually. Please, stay away from me pesa menya 10 acres, me pesa menya 20 acres.
No,
you know
but
what?
I want to.
If you have the means, my dear,
Yes.
farming is expensive.
Yeah.
So if you have the means and you can do 20-10, I have no problem with that. But if
you don't as well,
then
there's still
please.
an option for
and
you.
another good way is what I did. Look for partners. Okay? Maybe your father has some 50 acres in where you come from. So how about saying, okay, I have 50 acres, but I don't have the resources. If you have the money, can you join on board? If you have this, can you join on board? So together we can partner and do this together. Partnership, collaboration is another thing that the young people need to consider.
Yeah, it's not just for social media.
No,
business, everywhere.
Don't say I want to do it all by myself.
That's true.
Maybe you just can't do it all by yourself. You need partners to do this together. And that's what I did my first season. It worked for me. It reduced the risk.
Yeah.
It reduced the anxiety and everything. When there's a challenge, I make a group call. Hey guys, we're having this challenge.
Yes.
How do we sort it out?
Go? Yeah.
Nice.
That's the brilliance of what I call new age farming.
Thank you.
You know, and I like to hear stories like these because it shows that it is possible. You know, it's not far-fetched. It's not some dream somewhere that you need to climb a whole tree to jump onto another tree and then another tree and then go down a zip line to be able to get to. But it's practical and it makes a lot of sense. And I actually do appreciate you coming on here. There's a reason you got more than one nomination to be here in the first place. So it's brilliant. I understand that at the end of the month, there would definitely be some kind of award ceremony. So I'm throwing this out to everyone listening to us right now. If you know anyone like Enyonam Manye, or you know anyone that's doing brilliantly in the agricultural space here in Ghana, any woman, as we're celebrating Women's Month, why don't you go ahead and nominate her as well on our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Our handle is at 3FM927. Use the hashtag WMON, like Women's Month, right? WMON 3FM927, or you can simply send her name, her inspiring story or achievements to WhatsApp number 0207 733 131. That's 0207 733 131. And the deadline for submission is on 19th March 2024. I'd like to believe that that's Tuesday, right? 19th March 2024. Thank you so much once again for joining us.
You're welcome.
One quick message to anyone who's listening to you right now. Quick one. It could be anything around that grid.
The quick message I want to leave to young women, young men out there, is that we all have come to agree that government cannot employ all of us. But instead of you keeping your hands in between your thighs and complaining, please get up and find something doing. And I tell you what, it should be something in the area of agric.
Thank you.
If it is not content creation, you can do the farming. If it's not a farming, you can be a commodity trader. You can add value. You can also be a climate activist or something. Come on, there's a lot of money in this space.
True.
Unless you don't know. But agric is the new gold. That's how I call it.
Amen. I think it's always been gold. It's just now that our eyes are seeing that it's shining like that. I really do appreciate you coming on here. Enyonam Manye. And the Instagram, what's
the Ghanaian farmer.
The Ghanaian farmer.
Everywhere.
That's it.
Yes.
Everywhere. Go do well to follow and learn a thing or two from Enyonam Manye. On the other 3FM Drive, we bring you this. We are gearing up towards the